Hi, everyone. Everything good to go? Okay, well, welcome to the new lobby, and I wanted to have this press conference here because so much of this feels like deja vu, and so I said, let's at least change the background. From the moment I was elected, I've always been focused on the truth and transparency, and so obviously I'm here and I'll answer questions. But most importantly, I want to call out the truth and call out what's false, and that's really why I wanted to be here. And obviously, the same thing as has happened throughout the past year, maybe two, that we've been dealing with this. The timing, right? The same day yesterday, the same day that polls are released showing that KHOU is losing to her primary opponent, she leaks search warrants to the local Fox News station. And she does it in the same way as she always does with anything to do with her political incursions. Maximum calculation to make a splash. She could have just sent a sealed subpoena for this, but she chose to do it this way so she could leak it. She has these extremely detailed statements in the subpoena that any lawyer will tell you did not need to be that detailed, but she wanted to be able to have this false story for people to read and get alarmed about. She's real big on press conferences, she's real big on leaks. But when it comes to the substance, many times we've already seen there's nothing there. And I can name you numerous examples. There's the poker room raids, there's the Go Call case, the doctor with the COVID vaccines, the Arkema case, my staff member's case. So much talk, and nothing has actually come out. They've not been found guilty of anything because they're not guilty of anything. This is just the same dirty politics she's been playing at for years, and her patterns are extremely clear. There's a lot of evidence of that. So it's no coincidence this comes out in the middle of now her re-election, and one that's not going well for her. She's up for election March 5th, and I happen to know her opponent, Shantir. He is a well-respected, very experienced, strong opponent who not only just released a poll showing that he's ahead, but he has severely outraised her. I literally spent the day yesterday before this stuff was leaked working on the endorsement of him on Monday. In response, she does what she always does, which is to use her office for her political gain and her political benefit. On top of that, 80 precinct chairs, this was also actually announced yesterday, 80 precinct chairs are calling for her formal admonishment by the local Democratic Party. They argue correctly that she is the single biggest obstacle to smart public safety and fair criminal justice in Harris County. And even in the face of that, she has the same tired playbook. When things don't go well for her, she attacks. She doesn't lash out verbally. She doesn't react the way a politician might in a debate. She abuses the office the people entrusted her with and the sacred work that people entrusted her with for political investigations. This is obviously meant to be disruptive, to distract from what now has been exposed as a clear pattern of behavior on her part. And I'm gonna call it out. So here's the pattern. She's doing this because she wants to make her re-election about me. She can say, she wants to say, and we were literally talking about this yesterday. I was talking to my political advisors. I said, I want to endorse Shantir. They said, well, if you do that, you're going to make it easier for her to make it about you and her. I said, well, she's going to do that anyway. Read my lips, she did a few hours later. Because she can then say, well, the only reason Lina Hidalgo is supporting my opponent is because we're investigating her office. She can make it about me because the judge hasn't yet heard the merits of the case against my staff members. And so she hasn't yet, and the operative word here is yet, fallen flat on her face like she has with every single other one of her political vendettas. All she has gotten are numerous stories. Every time she does this to all the many people she's done it to, stories that sound compelling initially, they sound dramatic, but then are clearly riddled with exaggerations, with falsehoods, with conspiracy theories. Of course, would have persuaded any grand jury that the world's scariest crime took place if you show them this summary of conspiracy theories and twisted facts. But a story that has now been thoroughly debunked in the press. The problem is her playbook has been exposed, and it's not just me. Statewide media, local media have written about her political vendettas. It's been thoroughly documented. Is Daryl Jordan a sitting judge that was arrested and booked before he was going to run against her? Everybody knew in the political class that he was planning to run against her and would have been a formidable opponent. Nothing came of that. She started an investigation onto him. The guy's reputation's in tatters. Nothing came of it. Rodney Ellis, my colleague, a reformist commissioner, who she investigated very loudly, very dramatically when he was up for re-election. Nothing came of that. Jim Bethke, a county employee that resigned, terrified after this, who was investigated when he wouldn't give her the budget she wanted. It's how she bullied our public health director. It's in the news. It's how she bullied our budget director because he wouldn't give her the additional raises she wanted. She literally, and this is also documented, sent investigators to a number of her own prosecutors' homes to demand their cell phones because they had written down information that was embarrassing to her. That's just how she operates, and we all know it, and we can't keep falling for the same tactics. She's abused the power of her office the way a bully would abuse size in a playground. In the same way that playground bullies have issues with their behavior and they don't know any better. All they know is to be bullies. It's so clear. This is less to do with me and my office or Daryl Jordan or Rodney Ellis or Jim Bethke or any of these people than it has to do with her. With her panicking about her March 5th primary and the fact that she's behind. I learned so much about mental health, and one of the things I learned is some people just don't have the right coping strategies. And it really makes me sad to see, and for all of us to see, her coping strategy is to go make the prosecutors that work for her, the investigators that work for her, all these people, and waste their time as an outlet for her political anger. The leaks, it tells you something when warrants are leaked in the press before they're even shared with those involved. I don't even know how many times this has happened at this point. So again, it's pretty clear. She just wants to make a splash. If it's not one thing, it's another. She retweets something calling me vile. She claims I'm defunding the police. The content, obviously, of the investigation, be it on my staffers, be it the false accusations against me, it's already been reported. Her allegations severely distort the facts. A lot of the things she has to say about my office are more appropriate for Truth Social, for Parler, for any of these than it is an illegal filing. I have never, and I still don't, take political contributions from contractors. I go so far as to return contributions that accidentally are given to me by people who either seek to do business with the county or do business with the county. To put that into context, my colleagues, and this is also in a Houston Chronicle investigation, receive up to 80% of their contributions from people who do business with the county. They routinely, single-handedly award contracts to their political contributors. Even if what she's alleging were true, which it's not, I'm the last person you could possibly accuse of steering a contract. I'm the one person who doesn't give contracts to donors. I mean, it's just illogical. And yet this exercise continues. And why does it continue? Because it's not an investigative exercise, it's a political exercise, and it's an exercise of her looking to protect her political interests at all costs. So, you know, I won both times because voters wanted a different approach to politics, and voters were tired with the good old boy way. That's just the way Texas has done things. It's the way that Harris County has done things. And a lot of people feel threatened have felt threatened by the way I've worked to change things and to open things up. Just recently, my opponent from November finally ended her bogus lawsuit, which she filed January 6th of this year. She wanted to mark the anniversary of the insurrection. I mean, these are the kinds of people we're dealing with. But KHOU stands in the way of that change from the good old boy way of doing things. She's failed the people in her job as a prosecutor because she spent her time using her office to carry out these political vendettas. It doesn't faze me, it emboldens me to fight more against this ugly good old politics. I don't like it. And on this side of 7 weeks of mental health leave, I'm chill. But I'm ready to take her on March 5th. And I'm so excited to know that she's got such a fantastic opponent. And look, that's how we fight in politics. It's at the ballot box. That's the point. That's why we have elections and we work so hard to make sure they go smoothly. We're not supposed to use the people's funding for political ends. And we need to stop this circus that she wants us to be a part of every time. So she's gonna stop at nothing to pursue that political end. The next thing she's gonna do, try to use her office to come after me, try to come after Mr. Tier, her opponent, tell a biased story to a grand jury and have us or one of us indicted, like she did with my staff members. I could see that happening, but I can tell you that doesn't intimidate me. It didn't intimidate me before, it doesn't intimidate me now. It certainly won't intimidate him from what I know of him. It certainly, I'm quite sure, will only embolden these grassroots leaders, these 80 precinct chairs, who see what she does to the highest elected officials in the county and still are brave enough to sign their names in a petition against her. We're not scared. We care about Harris County, and we're not gonna let a thug run her office in this way and harm the people in this way. So I'm really excited to dislodge those horrible ethics from one of the most important positions in government. And, you know, with her office, with the office of any prosecutor, is one of the most powerful offices in government. It comes a lot of essentially unchecked power. But at the end of the day, the voters are more powerful. And that's why I want to be very clear about what's happening here. I'll repeat in Spanish and then I'll answer questions. And I know this was a little bit long. Bueno, estamos en el nuevo lobby de la Corte de Comisionados y quería tener la reunión aquí porque se siente un poco repetitivo, como déjà vu, como si ya hubiera vivido yo esto antes, porque es la misma cosa de siempre. Yo, bueno, desde que me eligieron la primera vez en el 2018, he creído mucho en la verdad, la importancia de ser muy transparente, la transparencia, la honestidad. Y es por eso que quiero tener esta conversación, responder preguntas y también exponer, bueno, qué es falso y qué es real. El día de ayer salió una encuesta mostrando que la fiscal KHOU estaba perdiendo contra su oponente de la primaria ahorita del 5 de marzo. Precisamente estuve trabajando yo toda la tarde con su oponente, con Sean Tier, para organizar nuestro plan de endosarlo el lunes. Y esa misma noche, de repente resulta las noticias Fox con esta información y estas acusaciones de ella. Siempre tiene una gran rueda de prensa o información que le da a la prensa, pero al fin y al cabo cuando llega la sustancia ahí no hay nada. Hay muchos casos importantes cuando intentó investigar y demandar a aquel doctor que llevó algunas vacunas. Obviamente con mi equipo de ahí no ha salido nada. También varios casos adicionales. Al fin y al cabo no sale nada y lo que sí sabemos es que estamos en medio de su reelección. Tiene la reelección el 5 de marzo. El oponente Sean Tier es muy bien respetado, tiene mucha experiencia, es fuerte y para acabar de completar está recaudando bastantes fondos, mucho más que ella. Además de eso, hay 80 líderes locales, líderes del Partido Democrático que están pidiendo que el partido formalmente tome acciones en contra de ella. Entonces, cuando las cosas no salen bien para ella, ataca. Es ya su modus operandi. Así opera siempre. Y aquí va nuevamente. ¿Por qué quiere hacer esto? Porque quiere que su elección sea acerca de Lina contra Kim Og. Porque el oponente es muy fuerte. Y en este caso, contra mi equipo, la juez todavía no ha decidido los méritos del caso. Entonces todavía ella no se ha apenado, no ha quedado mal, como queda mal siempre en estos casos. El ataque contra mí, el ataque contra mi equipo, no es el único ataque, es evidencia de un patrón que tiene ella, que ya hemos expuesto. Un juez, por ejemplo, un juez local, Daryl Jordan, que se iba a postular en contra de ella. Inició ella una investigación contra él, lo mandó a arrestar, todo eso, la foto, las huellas digitales, todo eso, al fin y al cabo, el señor no hizo nada, pero ya le había arruinado la reputación, entonces ya él no se postuló contra la fiscal. Mi colega Rodney Ellis, el comisionado, se postuló en el 2019 para la reelección, igual, ella abrió una investigación contra él, un montón de noticias de que el señor era corrupto, al fin y al cabo, se demostró que no hizo nada, ella tuvo que abandonar la demanda. Lo mismo con Jim Bethke, un líder en el condado, un administrador que no le dio el presupuesto que ella quería, igual inició una investigación, igual cerró la investigación. El pobre señor se retiró, dijo no vale la pena esto. Los investigadores del Departamento de Salud Pública, nuestro director del presupuesto que también ha atacado. Mi equipo, obviamente, siempre se está inventando una acusación explosiva que no sale en nada. Ella abusa el poder de su oficina como un bully abusaría su tamaño en la hora del receso. Así como un bully tiene sus problemas que no sabe cómo más expresar su enojo. Esto es lo que ella hace. No tiene que ver conmigo, ni con ustedes, ni con mi equipo, tiene que ver con ella, que no sabe cómo manejar su frustración al hecho de que a cómo va el camino no se ve bien su reelección. Y tiene obviamente una relación con la verdad bastante negativa, dice mentiras a como dé lugar. Cuando estaba yo de reelección el año pasado, ella era la que echaba el cuento de que yo quería reducir el presupuesto de la policía. Hoy día que ya gané, ya eso no suena por ningún lado. Obviamente lo que yo quería era subirle los salarios a nuestros policías, más de $50 millones. Entonces, quiero dejar muy claro, como ya han reportado los medios locales y estatales, lo que ella acusa es falso. Muchas cosas son falsas, muchas cosas han sido un poco contadas de cierta manera que hacen ver cierto algo que es falso. Yo nunca y aún hoy día no recibo contribuciones políticas por parte de contratistas ni cualquier persona que quiera negocios con el condado. Eso contrasta con lo que hacen todos mis colegas, y esto lo ha reportado los medios, el 80% de sus contribuciones políticas vienen de contratistas y personas que hacen negocios con el condado, que tienen negocios con el condado. Consistentemente, ellos le otorgan contratos a sus donantes políticos. Yo no hago eso ni nunca he hecho eso. Entonces, aunque lo que ella está alegando fuera verdad y no lo es, la última persona que puedes acusar de cualquier cosa que ver con un contrato soy yo. Pues soy la única persona que no le da contratos a los donantes. Y aún continúa esto, porque es algo político. Miren, ambas veces gané porque la gente de este condado quería ver política diferente, no lo mismo de los señores detrás, escondidos, tomando decisiones, todo a oscuras. Y a ella no le gusta ese cambio. Lo que ella hace es utilizar su oficina, su poder, para ataques políticos. Eso no me va a intimidar. Puede seguir echándole historias falsas a la gente, seguir atacándome a mí o a su oponente, inclusive intentar atacar a estos líderes del partido que están buscando sacarla. No nos vamos a dejar intimidar. Ya de este lado de mi tiempo en tratamiento de salud mental, realmente me siento súper bien y bueno, al final del día puede que ella sea muy poderosa, que su oficina de fiscal sea muy poderosa, pero al final del día son los votantes los que tienen el poder y ese poder viene el 5 de marzo y hacia eso estaremos trabajando porque de eso se trata, así funciona la política, es en las urnas de votación, no en esto de utilizar su oficina, su poder para atacar enemigos políticos. Lo dejo en eso y voy a responder preguntas. I'll take any questions.
Yes, ma'am. You said quite a bit about KHOU, the district attorney's office, but these warrants were issued by the Texas Rangers. This is a Texas Rangers investigation, not a district attorney's office investigation.
Yeah, so that's again her being cute, you know, because the Texas Rangers, if you look at the affidavit or whatever, the document, everybody named on there is a member of her office. The only person that's a ranger is the person who signed it. But, you know, the district attorney...
And filed the affidavit for the warrant.
Right, but it's all orchestrated very clearly, as you see the description, by district attorneys. The Texas Rangers routinely work with the district attorney's office, but this is obviously led by the district attorney. If you'll remember back when they showed up with sirens to my staff members' homes, again, they could have requested that, those materials. They wanted some computers. The computers would have given to them, but instead, they sent the Rangers in police cars with lights to the homes of my staff members, the one that lives by herself, the one with a child who's 5 who saw her father with police all around him, just because she wants to make a big deal of it. She sent people to my office downtown. It's as easy as saying, hey, we need these laptops. Obviously, we're gonna give them to her, but she has to do that. So in this case, of course, she wants to call it a Texas Rangers investigation, when I'm sure in all these other cases I listed, she keeps, you know, she talks about her, she doesn't talk the Rangers, but she knows people like the Rangers, and she's down in the polls, everybody likes the Rangers. So, I mean, yeah, of course the Rangers are involved, but it's a DA investigation.
Era lo que iba a decir,
Sí.
Precisamente decía que esos documentos se filtraron ayer a una cadena de televisión, pero estos documentos fueron públicos ayer, se firmaron el 9 de noviembre. ¿Cómo se pueden filtrar si se hicieron públicos ayer?
Bueno, los documentos se hicieron públicos, pero esto no tenía que haber sido producido de una manera pública, porque normalmente como funciona esto es uno manda lo que es un subpoena, privadamente se envía, se pide, miren, me hicieron falta estos documentos, envíemelos y se envían, pero ella le dio la vuelta para poderlo poner públicamente y obviamente le dijo a la cadena de noticias, oigan, vayan y busquen que he puesto esto. Ninguno de nuestros abogados sabía que eso estaba ahí. Entonces, obviamente, si tú estás operando de una manera honesta, uno, no lo haces en público, y bueno, si lo quieres hacer en público X, tú le llamas al otro lado, a la oposición, y les dices, mira, he llenado tal cosa, quiero que me entregues tales documentos. Pero se enteró primero la cadena de noticias. Entonces, nuevamente, y es el viernes antes de que el lunes iba yo a endosar al oponente. Y ok, digan, bueno, Lina, usted echa este cuento y ese otro cuento, pero es que no soy la única, o sea, por eso estoy nombrando tantos casos que ella hace lo mismo con todo el mundo, que no lo estoy contando yo, lo está contando el Houston Chronicle, lo están contando estos individuos que con valentía hablan frente a la prensa y dicen, miren lo que me han hecho y por eso ya no me lanzo contra ella.
Pero el documento no surgió por parte de la Fiscalía, sino por el Departamento de Estado, por el Estado de Texas.
Entonces, para dejar claro, la Fiscalía trabaja muy de cerca con los Rangers. Siempre la fiscal trabaja con los Rangers. Ella, como expliqué antes, ella directamente puede haber pedido este documento, pero ella sabe que en general la gente tiene una mejor opinión de los Rangers. Acaba de salir una encuesta, ella está bajo agua, o sea, la gente no la quiere. Entonces, claro, ella pone a los Rangers por delante, pero si tú lees el documento, todo lo que se nombra ahí, todo tiene que ver con la fiscal, los fiscales. Donde aparece, donde figura el Estado, el señor que firmó el papel y lo metió a la página. Pero todo esto lo está manejando la fiscal. Tú le puedes preguntar esto a cualquier abogado. Así funciona, los fiscales tienen acceso a los Rangers, los usan casi como asistentes, como investigadores adicionales. Pero esto es KHOU, o sea, es ella, no lo van a hacer ellos solos.
Well, politics aside, yes or no?
Let me answer this.
Yes or no, did you hand over the documents listed in the search warrant as required by grand jury subpoena?
So, absolutely, whatever it is she's accusing me of did not happen, is absolutely false. Any documents that they requested, all of us would have done our very best to hand over. And I will say, they requested 1 trillion documents from a bunch of different people. I don't, the allegations, as we've seen in the past, they always come twisted. In this case, There's something could possibly be twisted there, or it could be that, because they asked all these people, somebody sent something, somebody else didn't send. Somewhere they asked, they wanted, basically we use Google Docs, so they wanted like the track changes history. Okay, they could have asked for the track changes history. If they asked for it, we would have sent it. If they asked for it and somebody didn't send it, they made a mistake, it got buried in all of this stuff, they could reach out. I know for a fact, Catherine Case, the attorney at the county, sent a message to the district attorney's office saying, hey, is there anything else you need? Anything else you're missing? That's when they have an opportunity to respond and say, hey, yeah, we're missing this. That's how you do it in court. That's now they're accusing my staff members' lawyers. She's trying to intimidate their lawyers, trying to put them into, criminal accusations. So it's just the way you handle it, and again, exposes the way she does things. But let me give you an example here that, it goes back to the first set of allegations. They said, well, there was a committee to award this contract. And first of all, I could have awarded the contract unilaterally. I chose not to because I wanted to get bids. Again, I don't take contributions from contractors. They said in the committee, the county judge's office outnumbered the public health department staff. They said the county judge's office had 3 people, public health had 2 people. Well, that's not the case. My staff works so hard, they're so busy, that all 3 of them shared 1 seat. My office had 1 seat, public health had 2 seats. In fact, we were outnumbered. They say, well, in fact, Greg Rugen was repeating this again, which has been debunked so many times, that the other firm scored higher than the firm that was awarded the contract. That has been already proven false time and time again. There were many rounds of scoring. In the first round of scoring, somebody ranked them higher, but at that point, they hadn't discussed the budget, they hadn't seen them in person. It was just a preliminary evaluation. In the final evaluation, with my office outnumbered, this other group came ahead. And so it's the same thing. You have this scary sounding thing, same thing they did to Judge Jordan, same thing they did to Commissioner Ellis, same thing they did to Jim Bethke, same thing she did in Arkham, same thing she did with all these other cases that I can go blue in the face naming them, with GoCo. All the cameras come, she's, oh my goodness, look at this. And then once you dig a little deeper, it sounds bad, but it's just because they're telling a story that isn't there.
And now one of the allegations is that they had records on their personal devices on WhatsApp, and that was not provided. They have conversations, it appears that they're talking about county business on their personal devices, and that was not handed over. What would you have to say about that?
Again, any materials that they request, and I know we all strive to hand over everything we possibly had. If there was something that they didn't get, they certainly could have asked for it. If they wanted the metadata, they could ask for it without making a whole scene out of it and leaking it. I have no reason to believe that anybody hid documents. I mean, you'd have to be stupid to do that. Everybody knows that you don't mess with these things. You give whatever they want. I mean, for all I know, at one point they were even getting, and you can find this in the court records, they were trying to get communications between the attorneys and the clients. They were trying to get privileged communications, and the judge had to say, no, you don't have access to that. But for all I know, she has what I'm holding here, which is attorney-client privilege work product. I mean, for all I know, she's got everything I've ever written anywhere. And she can ask for that from Google and from WhatsApp and from wherever. And I want to address this deal about the encryption. Again, we have one reporter saying, oh my God, they're using encrypted apps. You guys, Google it. I did it last night. Is iMessage encrypted? Anyone who has an iPhone, you're using an encrypted app. I mean, everything's encrypted these days. It's on the September update to the Apple security website. There's nothing nefarious with using an encrypted app. If somebody wrote something on their county device, it might have been an oversight. I know, you could ask in county government across the offices, I can promise you, people don't have the careful division that we do of trying to do county business and county computers and personal, but it happens. Most of the folks The mayors, the county executives, the president, the vice president, they have my personal number. So in that sense, I use that device. But whenever we get a Public Information Act request that says, hey, I need any communication between the judge and so, we look at everything. We're not over here trying to, I mean, it would take an entire office trying to hide this. Don't you think somebody would have already said, hey, the judge is telling me not to share information that we're supposed to share? Obviously, we gave everything we had, and we even asked, what more do you need? And of course, they were sitting on this until, okay, so Lena wins re-election, Shantier is about to file, she's about to endorse him, the primary's coming up, and now, let's make a big splash of it.
So the search warrants, yes, they went public yesterday, but the investigator at the Texas Rangers have been looking into this months earlier during the summer. He seems to have reinvigorated his investigation to it. What do you think is the significance that he was looking into it over the summer?
I mean, they've been looking at it for a long time, and our lawyers asked to visit with the district attorney even, way back when, and to explain everything we've now explained to the media, has been reported by the media, what I went over with the number of people on the committee, the bid, this and that. Why does Lena Hidalgo mention her name on there? Well, because as I've said before, this is the other conspiracy theory she's gonna throw. As I said before, I always was impressed with our census work in 2020. I thought it was fabulous. I never met Felicity before. When she made the presentation, I was like, man, this is really, really well done. And so when people weren't getting vaccinated, I said to my team, obviously this was years ago, but from what I remember is, hey, I like the way that was done. Can we do a grassroots effort, kind of like the census, for vaccines? And so they were like, tell me what you have in mind. So I said, well, give me the census scope and I'll tweak it. Explain to me, who did this? Was this Civis? Was this Felicity? Who did which part? Oh, okay, and from there they drafted a scope. I had no idea that she would bid. I didn't, again, even if I did, even if I was being nefarious, which I'm not, I could have just given her the contract unilaterally. I have nothing to gain from her. I have nothing to gain from putting this out to bid. But if you're the ranger and you receive that same summary that the DA put together back when they made this whole scene at my staff member's house, or what came out now, which is, I would venture to guess what the grand jury was presented with, it sounds really dramatic, and of course you're gonna go pursue it. But the thing is, they're not interested in our side, which is the truth. They sat with my lawyers, they wouldn't give them the time of day, they wouldn't even let them talk. We filed a motion to recuse. They were accusing the lawyers and trying to get the lawyers criminally harmed. The interest here is not truth, it's not justice, it's politics. And so, I gotta go up because I've got a really exciting lunch today and I gotta go. But we can go 20 rounds on this. It really, we did it already. We did it last year. We did it several times last year. Here we are again. I'll do it again next stunt she throws. I'm here for it, whatever this lady wants to waste her and her staff's time on. But the bulk of the evidence, you guys, is very clear. I've been nothing but honest in my job. I'm the one politician who's not pay to play with contractors. I'm always transparent. I'm always honest. I'm not over here hiding behind my lawyer. I just won the election. And on the other hand, you have a lady who has, to put it gently, a very difficult relationship with the truth. I mean, this is a lady, and you guys have her on camera, who came to Commissioner's Court last fall, and with a straight face, she said, the defunding must stop. She said, Lena Hidalgo is defunding the police. She knew that we had a proposal for the budget to increase the police budget by over $50 million, including her budget. She many times, including in that recent Houston Chronicle article exposing her, has been caught telling lies. That's just the way she works.
And Judge, before you go,
Yeah.
can you clarify, so are you saying you did not pre-select Felicity's company before the bids were open?
Of course not. Of course not. I mean, even say that I did, like, why would I have done that? But of course I didn't. But again, you can twist things. So what I've said from the very start, I mean, even before this turned into an investigation, is I've always been impressed with the census work, and that was what inspired me to say, let's do a grassroots vaccine campaign, because what we had were TV ads, billboards, the federal government had billboards, but I wanted something grassroots. And so I changed the scope, I gave them to my team, and they did the bid. I never have anything to do with the bids. She won. Of course, in the meantime, there's all these things that they're showing that she's a one-woman firm. She's not a one-woman firm. She had a whole lot of people in her org chart, very experienced. I mean, there's a reason they won. And the end result of it is a woman-owned firm that's very qualified doesn't get a communications contract, so the same good old boys that give contributions to my colleagues are the ones doing communications for the county. I didn't participate, for example, in a commercial they're doing because of that, because it's like, okay, who's over here trying to keep people from really competing, maligning the vendor, maligning the staff in the office that does things transparently, that doesn't do the pay-to-play?
Can
Anyway.
you clarify one point of policy? Just one point of
Last one, and
policy.
then I
Yes.
really have to go. Yeah.
You had said when you get information request or subpoena, you search everything.
Yeah.
Do you order county employees to hand over personal devices for inspections? Is that county policy?
So at least in our office, I'll tell you what I do, and you can follow up with my staff about what others do. But I get surprised. I walk in, day at the office, and then my right-hand person, she'll say, "Judge, I need your phone." And she'll take it, because they don't even want to let me be like, oh my God, what did I read? They take my phones, they do, I don't know, they take screenshots, you know how you get the PIAs, I don't know what format they come into, but they do the screenshots, the transcribe, whatever it is, and they send it, and I get my phone back, both phones. They check, they don't even say, hey Judge, have you texted Rodney on your personal phone? No, they check it. They check to see if I texted Rodney on my personal
But you do
phone.
that for every employee.
I would think so, but let me ask, do you guys know? Let's refer you to county attorney, but what I would say is yes. I mean, there's no reason they would treat me differently.
So where are the
Yeah.
documents?
Say that again?
Where are the documents? The ranger
And
said
maybe
that they
she
didn't turn
already
it all over. Where are they? Did
She-
you turn over everything? Your staff
Again,
turned everything over?
I already answered that question. We turned over everything they asked for. We asked them if they needed anything else. They never said they did. They could have asked for this in private. They didn't. And if there's anything they're missing, we'll happily send it. But at this point, they probably have it. That you can get anything by going to the providers, the media companies, and then just asking for it, which is how I suspect they have my attorney privileged information. Because when Google hands them whatever has Lena Hidalgo on it, it includes whatever has my lawyers on it. I mean,
Did you delete messages?
of course not. I mean, that'd be stupid. Thank you, guys.
Do you think she intends to take their case to trial?
I don't know. I mean, I think right now, I don't think so, because if she knows she's gonna lose. Again, refer back to all these other cases, right? She gets to trial, she flops. She says, never mind, I didn't have a case, can't do this anymore. So no, I don't think so. She's not gonna do that before the election, because she's gonna flop.